Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hello and welcome to another Rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. For this Rambling review, we're going to be talking about the movie Masters of the Universe. I'm starting this with sort of a disclaimer. Yes, I grew up at the time when Masters of the Universe was popular. However, I was really not into He-Man and Masters of the Universe. I did watch the cartoon occasionally, every once in a while, but He-Man really wasn't my thing. I was a little bit more into G.I. Joe than anything else of, the popular cartoons of that time period. But He-Man in the 1980s was huge. It was massive. They did have a live-action movie that flopped miserably because the people didn't understand what He-Man was at that time, back then. And here, after now about 15 years of trying to get another live-action adaptation made, we finally have one, Masters of the Universe, from MGM and Amazon. And the movie, it starts off in Eternia. He-Man's a boy. He's kind of a wimpy little kid, getting beat up. His dad's a little bit kind of rough to him in the sense, he wants to make him tough because Eternia is it's a beautiful place. It's a wonderful place, but there's all kinds of evil lurking and you have to be prepared at all times. You have to be vigilant. And then Skeletor attacks, and they end up He-Man gets sent the Sword of Power to Earth, where his mother was originally from, to save the sword and keep it from falling into Skeletor's hands. The next we find He-Man, it's 15 years later, and Adam is working as a human resource officer at some corporation, and he's obsessed with finding the sword and has been. He grew up in Oklahoma. Some guy gives him a tip that he has found his sword. He does find it. He finds it in a comic book shop called the Fright Zone. He gets the sword and then ends up setting up a beacon. Beastman shows up to try to get the sword back, and as well as Tila. And they end up all going eventually back to Eternia, where the rest of the movie takes place. In the interim, when He-Man was on Earth, of course, the Masters of the Universe, they all went underground, literally. They literally went underground. There's this underground city where they're all living, hiding from Skeletor. Adam, of course, becomes He-Man. In this movie, there's not like the alter ego, the alternate identity. Adam is He-Man and He-Man is Adam in this movie. Point where he has powers, but his powers can be taken away, at least at one point in the film. And that does happen. Skeletor gets a sword, but it doesn't work, so he goes to Castle Grayskull because Evil Lyn is going to perform this ceremony so that Skeletor can be enhanced with the power from the Sword of Power at Grayskull. That's the general synopsis of Masters of the Universe. Now, the movie, I wasn't for sure how the movie would be, and I enjoyed the movie. It's very colorful, it's very bright, unlike a lot of action movies from the past 15 or so years that have been very dark and had a very dark palette to them. This one, the visuals were very bright, it was very colorful. There's a lot of action. I was surprised there's actually a lot of killing that goes on. I mean, literal killing. I mean, in the 80s cartoons, no one ever died, ever. But there's several people that die here. There's a lot of, I guess, you would consider red shirts to die too. But there's also some not the main characters, but there's some bigger characters. They get killed as well, both the heroes and villains. So that does happen in this film. I thought it was entertaining. Of course, it plays around a little bit with some of the lore, I guess, and mythology or whatever of He-Man. To me, it felt like a fairly good adaptation of the live-action cartoon, with one exception. The biggest drawback of this film, in my opinion, is besides the marketing of the movie, but the biggest drawback of the film itself was the humor. I thought there was way too much humor. A little bit of humor is good when it's well placed, but they overdid things. To me, it reminded me of kind of like Family Guy jokes sometimes, where they do a joke and they just keep beating it over the head. I mean, after a few times, it's no longer funny. And that's kind of what happened in this movie. There's certain things that happen. There are some jokes that are referenced that keep they keep bringing them up throughout the movie that, after a couple times, you don't need to make the joke anymore. It's already been made. Or there's a few times where there's something funny that happens that there's no reason for it to happen, then humor actually distracts from what's happening
in the movie itself. The movie's not great cinema in the sense that it's like, oh wow, this is so epic and things like that. Jared Leto, does a great job as Skeletor. They actually, I mean, a lot of the acting is pretty well done, especially for what it is. I was not at all, for me, like Man of Arms being Idris Elba, that didn't bother me at all. It kind of fits with actually Man of Arms' character, and Idris Elba is a great actor, so he's fine. Now, what they do to his character, was a little bit questionable with that, because after the fall of Eternia, there's something that happens to him that seems misplaced, seems out of character, in my opinion, but that part is what it is. I mean, it's kind of a nitpicking at that point. But the humor aspect is not, because the humor actually distracts from what's going on. Now, the biggest, I mean, I guess, the drawback of not of the movie itself, but this movie was horribly marketed. I mean, there has been some marketing out there, and then the demographic where they were marketing this movie, I mean, the people that were going to see this movie, they were already going to see it. I mean, you're basically men from 35 to about 54 years of age. Some of them may have brought some of their kids and things like that. They should have done some more marketing towards a younger audience. There's ways they could have done that. I'm not for sure why they didn't. But Mattel might be hurting after this because of the box office results. I hope not. It'd be nice to see. They set things up for a second film. Not directly. I mean, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger or anything like that. But there is a teaser, so they could do another movie. And it would be kind of cool to see them do another movie. I'd like to see more of the characters themselves on Eternia. But whether that will happen or not has yet to be seen. So overall, Masters of the Universe, it's a really fun movie. I do recommend it. I mean, if you're looking for something just fun to go see at the movie theater, no, it's not an event film, anything like that, but just to go see a movie. When it comes out and is shown on television, or something in the future when you just put in the background, you want something put in the background, this will be a great movie for that. Just to pop in from now and again. I can see a few years down the road where this movie will be considered sort of a cult classic that was overlooked at that time. It has a lot of the feel of that because, it just came out kind of at the wrong time period and was not marketed very well. But it could, in the future, could be, a cult classic at some point, which would be nice. It would be nice to see He-Man come back again. Even I don't know if that will happen or not, but the film, nevertheless, it's a fun film. It's really entertaining. There is a little bit too much humor in there. Now, for little kids, 6 and under crowd, they might enjoy it. I don't know, but some of the humor, maybe over their heads. There's quite a bit of innuendo. This would be a PG-13 movie, most definitely. So anyway, that's Masters of the Universe. This has been another rambling review from Adventures in TV Land. If you've liked this video, hit the like button. If you disliked, hit the dislike button. And until next time, that's a wrap.